Episode 9 of Regular Features.
Hello and welcome to Regular Features. My name is Matt Lees and I'm joined by Log John Blythe.
Hello there, wrong order. It's John Log Blythe.
John Log Blythe,
Log
sorry.
is in single quotation marks.
Bollocks. And we've also got Mr. Gavin Murphy, who is, of course, Welsh.
And you said that in the right order. I am first Gavin Murphy and second Welsh.
Oh, yeah.
So
You'll always be Welsh first in my mind because I am a racist. This is quite an interesting episode, actually. It's a big celebration for us because obviously it's the 9th episode in this series, but actually it's also the first time that we haven't had Steve here.
Shit.
This is the one where we find out whether Steve is the strong link that's made the podcast so good as it is for 9 episodes, minus this one, 8 episodes.
Or is he the vaguely inefficient glue that looks like it's holding things together, but actually it's just sort of paste, like wallpaper paste.
I'm slightly nervous.
I'm a bit nervous as well, actually.
Full of heart.
He is funny and he's Irish as well.
Yeah, he's likeable.
He's very
People
likeable.
like that.
People do like him, don't they? It makes me sick.
Talking of people liking, actually, it's quite awkward because you're fan Nathy D. I feel bad because Nathy D has started to include me now in the messages.
Yeah, me too.
But
Nathy D, can you stop that, mate?
But I don't know how to react to it because he said to me,
When you can stop being such a prick.
It has been. I have now confirmed that Jam Sponge has curly hair, but I'm still unsure as to whether or not he is funny. And I sort of think, you know what? You've said that after listening to 7 hours of me talking. That's basically.
To be fair, Matt,
that's basically
in your head it was 7 hours of you talking, but if you listen to it, we did talk as well.
Yeah, that's true. There are, I do let you talk.
You know this podcast is called Regular Features, not Matt Lee's Happy Hour.
What? I'm checking the RSS feed. No, but
I'm changing the shit straight away.
Matt Lee spunks into his own mouth.
While 3 other people watch.
I should say
And applaud.
Even if there is demand for that, I'm not doing that. But no, I just sort of thought, well, it was kind of a bit of a sideways one. I thought, well, if you're not sure by now, then that basically means you think I'm not funny, and I don't have a problem with that. But just say it like a man, Nathy. Okay, well, basically, my feature, as some of you may have realised recently, Mr. Jim Fixit died not that long ago, and that was very sad because obviously he'd been on the television for a long time, and he's actually smoking cigars and wearing shell suits and medallions and stuff, and he was really nice and really cool. But
I've got a feeling that I don't wish to elaborate on that he was awful, but I don't know any details. It's just a gut feeling
Well, that Louis
that I'm allowed to have.
why do you think he was awful?
Well, the Louis Theroux thing pinned him out to be quite weird, and
Well, he's
he lived in that
definitely
little
an old man.
flat with his mum.
I think that's probably what I'm going on, but I didn't watch it. I just heard people say it,
Well,
so
I'm
I
just
allowed
going-
that to colour my opinions.
I mean, that's how we form opinions. We're just human. We're humans.
Just can't deny it.
Well, no, I do agree with that, and also, but I mean, I'm sort of in that classic zone of when somebody's just died, you just don't say anything nasty about them unless they definitely were a pedo, like with Michael Jackson.
Do you know anyone who's ever had something fixed for them by Jim? I do.
Well, no, I don't, and that's part of my feature, really. Unfortunately, is the fact that Jim never fixed anything for me, and I wrote him lots
You
of
did
letters.
write in, though.
I
Did you write
wrote
in?
in. Yeah, I wrote in. Obviously,
Is that?
well, obviously, the show ended in June 1994, so all of these letters were written before I was 8.
Of course.
But no, I did write in
wasn't
several times.
arguing the validity of that.
No, I'm glad you weren't, and I'm glad I didn't have to use any of my pre-prepared statistics that I looked up on Wikipedia. But obviously, I wrote him in some letters.
Okay.
But actually, I just want to, before I read out these letters, I just do want to say, actually, you're quite right about him being a bit odd. I did look online recently, and there was a photograph of him introducing
I just saw this. I know what you're going to say.
to Peter Sutcliffe.
Yeah.
Introducing who to Peter Sutcliffe?
Frank Bruno. It's happened. It's a photo. It's a real thing. Basically, apparently, Mr. Jim will fix it was doing.
What? Peter Sutcliffe had written to him.
No.
Can you fix it for me out of prison? Yeah.
I love pantomimes, and although I will never be allowed to see one, I would like to meet Frank Bruno, knowing that he would have stories about the pantomime life.
That was actually a really good impression of Jimmy Savile.
Oh, reading out a letter from Peter Sutcliffe.
Wow.
Hang on, I remember the one Jim will fix it that stuck in my head since watching it.
Right.
Was a boy who had written in saying, "Can I have a chandelier in my bedroom?"
Are you kidding?
It's not. I remember seeing it. I remember
did they have
thinking. I remember because I was quite young at the time. It was, and my mum and dad. I knew I was bent,
Yeah, okay.
But my mum and dad were saying, "Oh, that kid's doomed." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So there's ways you can do this that get you doomed, and one of them is asking for a chandelier on national television."
Shit.
Right. So it's okay.
Mental note to self.
Thing is, though, he's got it right, that kid, though, because he's managed to get something that's so weird and extravagant, yet actually quite doable for the BBC. And he'd be like, "Do you know what? We could do that."
I think it dominated his room.
work.
There was barely room for him to get in, and they took it out at the end of the show.
What?
It was the biggest fucking jip in the world. Here's a glimpse of your dream, you young gay prick. now it's gone.
Back on the streets
They
with you.
took it out at the end of the episode.
Well, I think it would have rendered his bedroom lethal, because you'd be walking, his
Into
face
a
would just go into
chandelier,
glass. It was a massive chandelier and a tiny room.
Fucking hell.
That's the biggest anticlimax ever, isn't it? Just like, I had a chandelier this morning, no, I don't have one tonight. Fucking brilliant. At least let me sleep over with it.
At least I mean, sleep in it, like the end of War of the Roses.
Nice.
But yeah, Peter Sutcliffe. Apparently, he worked with him in a hospital. Became friends with him. Apparently,
Before
whilst
his,
working in
Before his cheeky days.
before his cheeky. No, this was
I
when he
like
was.
to call it his moment of weakness.
No, this was after he was in the mental hospital. Right. Anyway, I'm going to read you my letters that I wrote to Jim. Dear Jim, I've always wondered what it might be like to own a train. If you feel this might be something you can temporarily arrange for a small boy such as myself, please do get in touch as soon as possible. Yours sincerely, Matt as a child.
I like the way you set a reasonable time scale. And
Yeah, I mean,
spoke with eloquence.
yeah, I was a very bright child, obviously. He didn't get back to me, unfortunately. But it didn't matter because a few years later, I decided that I wasn't interested in trains anymore. So I wrote him another letter. I wrote, "Dear Jimmel, I've always wondered what it might be like to live in a convent. Do the nuns all meet up with the monks on a Friday to have a party, or do they have to wait until the Jesus Christmas party? If you could, Jim, or fix it for me to live in a convent, that would be great. Awaiting your reply, Matt's a child." And unfortunately, he didn't get back to that letter either.
That one's less doable.
Well, no, I know, but
I think once you get the wimple on, I've seen Robbie Coltrane do it. I think it's possible.
actually, hang on, Gal. I think it's more possible that he'd be able to fix it so I could live in a convent than it would be for me to own a train.
Yeah, but there's loads of trains.
You could just own a train for a day. They could take it off you at the end of the day. They've got really fucking lax rules.
Forgot about that chandelier gate. But no, I didn't get a train, or I didn't get to live in a convent either. So I wrote him another letter. Okay, Jim. I want to be a fucking astronaut. Get your act together. Matt as a child. No,
Right.
No, this is it. He didn't get back to that letter. And then
I can only imagine the next one will be even more impolite.
Well, many years later, I wrote again finally, and I said, "Jim, can you fix it for me to have a cat or something? I don't even really like cats, but I thought I might as well just start lowering my standards a bit, as you're clearly not capable of fixing anything more substantial than a ride on a horse or a weekend in fucking Butlins. You've broken my childhood and pissed on my dreams. Fuck you, Jim. I love you. I'm sorry. Looking forward to your reply. Matt as a child."
You know, you just said about riding on a horse.
Yep.
The person that I know who had something fixed to them got to ride on a horse.
Well, that's salt in the fucking wound, isn't it? Because I didn't get a cat.
I did write in, but it was as a joke, but I did write in as a joke.
Are you
Oh, I'm
suggesting-
sorry. I've said up. This is going to be really funny because I did it as a joke.
Are you suggesting
Oh,
that
no.
all of my letters are fabricated? And that I was clearly not an 8-year-old sending 4 letters? No, sorry. So what did you ask for?
Please, can you fix it for me to sit on Hunter the Gladiator's knee, the bit below his knee, and then he can lift me up with his shin and make a sound like a crane? Because my granddad used to do it to me when I was young, and I thought it might be sexy.
And in that one sentence, we've learned more about you than we possibly wanted to.
That felt like a nice jingle spot. What do you think?
It is time for the next regular feature.
Now, it's time for my feature, and my feature is, I think it's a little bit of an apology, because you may have noticed, even in that last bit, I brought up the fact that I was a fucking bender twice.
Yeah.
You
And
like
it's really,
doing this?
Well, I don't know. It's just part of my life. You used your girlfriend's name earlier, which let on that you were straight.
But you're apologising for being gay, right?
Well, I just want to be straight.
So yeah, well, it's nice. We've for once, this is we've got the majority of the staff on the podcast are straight.
Well, and I want to join you. You convinced me by pure numbers that you're always the right way.
Well, that's how it's worked throughout the entirety of history.
But you've got to help me.
Oh, God, log.
For instance, what is it like having a boob in your mouth, and if you squeeze it, is it nice? Things like that
Oh,
are
wow.
a complete mystery to me.
Well, that's is that
I rested my head on a lady's boob once in university, and that was nice. But I can't help but thinking that was more cushion for a bosom for a pillow, brimful of Asher, than actually turning around and shitting on it or whatever you lot do.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yes, it is nice.
Is that was it a double part question? I mean,
it is. They are rules.
Do they
quite
squeak
serious.
if you rub them together? Can you?
They make like you know the no, you know the noise that you hear when you're striking a match. That's what noise they make when you rub them together.
what have you been doing? I cannot corroborate on these facts, I'm afraid.
Well, let's move on to fanny farts, because I think they'd be amazing, but do women like them in bed?
Well, does anybody like them in bed, really?
I think that'd be fucking amazing. If you put your penis into something that is capable of making a farting sound, I've lost the distinction between gay and straight here.
I was like,
well, it's something that's not supposed to fart.
Was that just the missing link? That's the bit that makes it seem like fun.
This is how I've Tarzaned into straightness now, because I've realised that fannies can fart too, and that's what sex is all about.
putting your penis in something that can make a squelchy noise.
Well, I don't know, because squelchy. I mean, what does a fanny fart sound like? Does it just sound like a normal fart?
No,
It's kind of a lot wetter than
it
that.
sounds like an old man's impression of a fart.
Yeah, it can be quite outrageous and hilarious. It's going to happen at some point when you're having sex with a lady. These noises will happen. Try not to laugh about it. I
honestly won't be able to help myself. I've never stifled
very
laughing
difficult.
at farts.
The problem is you have to struggle this sensation of wanting to laugh, but then also having to gauge how embarrassed they are, and you kind of just do this sort of quiet, who cares, sort of.
I try and make out that it was me that made the noise, and go, oh, that was me.
That's not bad.
That's me.
Actually.
That's me. That's why it all smells of womb.
Oh.
Maybe I should look at more queef porn, because I'm sure that I've just not bothered to look out for it, because my primary consideration when I'm looking for porn is having a wank. I should do more porn out research.
I mean,
this is something that I actually do have a question about. There are a lot of places that I can go to get free porn. Is it the same for gay people?
Yes. If you go to somewhere like RedTube, they've got hundreds of categories.
I'm familiar with their work.
But they've got one category that is gay.
Yeah, this is the thing.
And you have to rely on search terms.
Yeah. All right. The only access to gay porn I think I've had is in 6 Feet Under, because he was always watching gay porn in there.
Oh, I love Big Black Keith in that.
Yeah, Big Black Keith's awesome, isn't
we
he?
called in our student house. We named our TV remote Big Black Keith.
Oh, that's amazing.
We loved him. He was just.
Did you ever watch 6 Feet
Hang
Under?
on. You two have gone gay. Are you doing this on purpose? Are you subverting my conversion?
No!
We're trying to.
Fuck.
I'm
here
the trick
on
on
the-
your side.
on the border of
No. You have tricked us. You've said to us, "Oh, teach me how to be straight," knowing that we would open up our souls so you could sneak your tendrils in
Fucking
and turn
Darren
us both
Brown.
proper bent style.
I don't want to say anything, but you're both gay pregnant.
No!
Why?
You got it all over you.
How long till it hatches?
2 weeks, and it'll be an army of miniature me's coming out of your arsehole.
Shit. Just show it. Have a banana.
Well, that sounds like a good way to end my section.
I've got some correspondence that I've done with a real person, a real magician, that I met in real life. And basically what happened was...
You've used the word real a lot there. Is it, just be honest with us now, is this real in the way that my letters to Jimmy were real, or is this actually real?
It's actually real.
Oh, actually.
I think it'll become obvious quite early on.
I'm
But
excited.
basically, the story, the backstory is, I was at an event with work, and there was a magician there, as sometimes is, and he asked me,
50-50, really.
yeah,
How's the event? Not bad. Free bar? Yeah. Magician?
yeah, standard. He asked me to do this trick, help him with this trick, and it was a coloured dice with different colours on each end of the dice. And he said, "Put it in your hand, take it away, make sure that I can't see, and look at one of the sides of the dice and get the colour in your head." So I did it. There's no way he could have seen. There's no mirrors or anything that can get through my fat hands.
Right.
So I literally did looked at a sliver of the colour. Came back and he said, "Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to guess what it was." And he said, looked me right in the eyes, and he said, "Do you wear women's underwear?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Red." And it was red. He guessed it correct. And I was like,
Bloody hell.
"Oh, that's good." Okay. So he said, "Right, do it again." This time, I didn't look at the cube. Thinking,
Right.
here we go, magic man. Didn't look at the cube. Came back. He asked me, "Do you like wearing high heels?" I went, "Yes." And he looked at me, and I swear to God, he looked at me, he looked perplexed. And he was like, couldn't work it out. And he was like staring me down. And then I assume hazard a guess went green. And I went no, because obviously I hadn't seen it, so I couldn't even tell if I was right or not. So then the last...
No, what you're doing is science.
Yeah, so then the last
in
time...
In the face of magic.
But he just done a trick with a £50 note and said, right, if I get it wrong again, you can have this 50 quid. And he looked sort of, not shaken, that's weird. Not a vet fielding, it wasn't like most songs did. But he goes, okay, do it again. And this time I thought, right, fuck it, I'm going to look, see what happens.
Right.
But I turned away, looked, it was red again, looked back, and he said, oh, you like wearing makeup, don't you? And I went, yes. And he went, red, straight away. And I was like, yeah, you did get that. How?
So you lost... Did he say he'd give you 50 quid? Or?
Oh, I didn't lose £50. He just
sorry.
didn't get. But that's the trick anyway. So I went away from that event thinking, how the fuck... I was like, just thinking, the only thing I'm doing when I get home, I'm going to look how to do that trick, because I need to know,
right,
is this something that he's picking up in the way I'm moving my mouth, or I'm saying like... So I got home and I thought, right, that Magician's Secrets show has been on for ages. I'm sure this is a well-known trick.
Right.
So I Googled it, went on YouTube, couldn't find anything about this trick. I tried different variations where it was like a coin. Maybe like there's another person where they do a coin and take it away. Couldn't find any variations of the trick. And I thought, he gave me his business card. And I was like, I'm going to fucking email him. Like, the worst he can say is no, right?
Yeah.
So I emailed him.
Right.
My first email went to him. Dear Jamie, I saw you at an event last night, and usually the magician of those things are really annoy me, as a lot of the time they break the flow of the conversation. It's impossible to get that flow back. This is a real email that I did send.
This is really licking his arse already, but carry on.
I was, however, incredibly impressed by a certain trick you did, and after searching the internet to find out how you did it, have come up with nothing. I know there's a magic circle, but I barely slept last night. That's true, I really didn't. And trying to work it out and failing. Would you be able to make an exception? The trick I'm talking about is one with the coloured dice. I was the Welsh guy with a beard, then I go on to explain exactly what happened. Appreciate your help, Gav. Literally, about 20 minutes later, I got an email back from him.
Not a busy man, obviously.
Hi, Gav. I'm glad you enjoyed the show the other night. It was a good event. I remember you and your friends. I can't believe I got the second one wrong. That almost never happens. Unfortunately, I'm bound by the rule of the magic circle and can't reveal its secrets. I have attached my upcoming tour dates if you'd like to see me again. Thanks for your interest, Jamie.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't like the way you converted that into a sales pitch at the end.
I thought it was
mean,
weird.
that was the... Yeah.
I confront that in the next email. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for your reply. And thanks for forwarding your tour dates, which I'm sure I didn't mention or ask for in my last email. I understand about the rules of the magic circle. That's fine. I'm not the kind of person who would sell your secrets or tell on you or anything. I wouldn't know who to contact, to be honest. That's not to say that if I did, I would. I'm just saying I don't have that info at my disposal. I wouldn't reveal the secret to anyone else. I just need to know for my own obsessive interest. As I said, I won't tell anyone anything, so if you can find it in your heart to make an exception, I'll be eternally grateful. Thanks again. Gav. He sends me an email back saying, oh, hi Gav, ha ha ha, sorry for the shameless plug. I'm just looking to get the word out about my new tour. Unfortunately, I can't make an exception, but thanks again for the email. Hope to see you on the tour, Jamie.
Right. I'm worried the tone's going to change now, Gav. Why did you keep emailing at this point? I mean...
I felt like I could crack him.
With kindness.
Hi again, Jamie. I've had an idea. If you tell me how you did the trick, I will get 100 people to come and see you on your tour. Obviously, I wouldn't expect the secret until after I get 100 people to show you. Maybe we could work out some kind of system where I get my friends to email you with their booking reference. Have a think about it, Gav. So at this point, I'm thinking, I could probably do that.
That's a man in desperation.
That's maybe doable.
Yeah, I mean, I'd consider that. 100 people.
Gav. Stop saying to Gav now and hi Gav or anything, because it's Gav. Haha, you're certainly persistent. If you could get 100 people to every one of my shows, I'll think I'll hire you and sack my agent. You don't work in PR, do you? Lol. It's a real thing he said. I understand you like the trick, and I know how obsession with the trick can take over. In brackets, better than anyone else.
Oh.
It's quite sinister, isn't it? I know how
There's a dark secret here.
I know how obsession with the trick can take over better than anyone else.
I'd like to see his story about how he became a magician.
Yeah. But I'm afraid I can't help you with this. Thanks again for your interest, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. I wasn't actually saying I would get 100 people to each of your shows. I meant spread over the entire tour. You sent me a list with over 25 live events on it. I was doubting myself after offering 100, if I'm honest. But I reckon I could definitely get 100 people spread over the entire tour. If you don't mind my saying, I've had a look at the links you sent me, and a few of the nights aren't selling too good. One of the dates in December only has 13 tickets sold. As a member of the occult, you don't need me to tell you that type of thing is to be avoided. Think about it. All I'm asking for you to show me how you did the trick. I won't tell anybody, Gav.
Longest turn of
Jesus.
looks like a tomato. I've never seen
I love the voice you're reading in. It sounds perfectly reasonable. I'm just imagining reading that, and so I'm imagining what he might say back. Luckily, you've got the answer.
At this point, he drops Gav. He's been saying hi, Gav. Then he said Gav. Now he's gone to Gavin.
Oh.
Gavin, you obviously have quite a lot of time on your hands.
Says the man who replied after 20 minutes.
Exactly. I don't appreciate people emailing me saying how poorly my ticket sales are, particularly given that December gets very busy at late notice, and I usually get booked up solid for Christmas parties. I've been quite clear that I'm unwilling to share my secrets with you, Jamie.
Wow.
So at this point, obviously...
Oh, God, no. How much more? It's going to get horrible.
It's taken a turn. I wasn't trying to take the piss and saying that no one's going to his tour, but
you've kind of pushed it over the edge now.
It's gone, yeah. There's not going back now. Hi again, Jamie. What if you just send me a link to a website where I can find the trick? For that, I will give you 50 people at one of your shows. Seriously, think about it, Gav. At this point, Jamie drops any sort of hi or anything.
No Gavin even.
Well, there is a Gavin, but it's using a weird term.
Is it in italics?
No.
All right.
It says, listen, Gavin, it's not going to happen. Please stop emailing me, Jamie.
Okay.
Right.
So naturally, you
stopped
complied
at this
with his
point,
wishes.
Obviously.
A man.
Yeah, I stopped then. Jamie. I didn't want it to come to this, but you forced my hand. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get to know this trick.
Gotta give it up on that one.
I found the contact details for the Magic Circle, and I'm one phone call away from telling them that you've been offering magic secrets in exchange for ticket sales. You basically agreed to it in these emails anyway. Just think about this. Is it worth it? Just tell me how you did the trick, and this all goes away. Gav. I put a kiss at the end of it.
Oh my God. So now you've actually got to put we are blackmailing a magician.
I wish I'd used not my actual email address. And I'm glad I didn't use my work email address.
At this stage, I would have said, and by the way, this is a fake email address, so don't tell the police.
So don't bother. Yeah. Are you sure you're not still going to get in trouble for this? By the time this podcast goes online, you might be in jail.
Okay, again, so his next email, no hi or anything. Do you honestly think they believe you? So, I thought this was fun for a bit, but you're wasting my time now.
Whoa.
The thing I take from that, though, is I said in the email before, I found the contact details for the Magic Circle. I didn't think that was, readily available, surely. But apparently it is. I didn't do any research. I didn't try and find the Magic Circle. I was never going to dob them in or anything.
What, did you think the Magic Circle was a mystical entity that didn't have a phone number? What the fuck?
But I'm assuming the Magic Circle doesn't have a receptionist. I can just ring up and be like, put me through to your fraud department.
They're not like the stonemasons. It's not like you've got to have a special ring to find the secret underground layer.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of our correspondence.
I can imagine.
Hi again, Jamie. I also didn't want it to come to this, but for the record... I didn't even look at the cube the second time you asked me to look at it, so when you got it wrong, I know you can definitely read minds. And I know the government probably don't want your kind in the wild messing around with things. This is my final offer. You tell me how you did the trick. In return, I will get 100 people to come to your shows. I won't tell the Magic Circle you approached me and offered me the trick in exchange for ticket sales, and I won't approach the government ever. I didn't say from Gav or Gav Kiss. I didn't say anything. I got the last reply, which I would get from him ever, just saying, stop this. And the last email that I sent to him was, Jamie, final offer, 200 people, Gav Kiss. The worst thing was, though, for the first part of the exchange, I genuinely just wanted to know how he did the fucking trick. By the end, I was like, well, he's not going to tell me, so...
They're pissy bastards, aren't they, wizards?
Bloody magicians. Anyone can do what you do. I had to pull Daniel's magic set.
They're sickly creatures. They start off weak, but at the end of their skill trees, they're usually the most powerful class.
Yeah.
And Gav, if you had found out from him, and I'd seen the trick and been similarly captivated, would you have told me?
God, it was part of the Magician's Circle. I'm not stupid.
Oh, fucking hell.
We've learned nothing from this.
Right, well, that was Regular Features. Thank you very much for listening.
Good day to you.
Section. This is a judgment-free section. This is a judgment-free zone. We will not zone. We will not zone. We will not